You have probably heard the phrase, trust your gut. You may have felt butterflies in your stomach before a big moment. You may have lost your appetite when you were sad or anxious. These are not figures of speech. They are not coincidences. They are glimpses of a hidden biological truth that science is only now beginning to fully understand. Your gut and your brain are in constant, intimate conversation, and your mood may depend on who is doing the talking down there. You have a second brain. That is not a metaphor. It is a literal, physical network of neurons embedded in the walls of your digestive tract. It is called the enteric nervous system, and it contains around 500 million neurons. That is more than your spinal cord. It can operate independently of the brain in your head. It controls digestion, nutrient absorption, and the movement of food through your intestines without any input from above. But that is not all it does. The enteric nervous system is connected to your brain by a thick cable of nerves called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a superhighway that runs from your brainstem all the way down to your abdomen. It carries signals in both directions. But here is the surprising part. About 90% of the traffic on this highway goes upward, from gut to brain. Your gut is sending far more information to your brain than your brain is sending to your gut. Your gut is not just taking orders, it is giving them. What is your gut telling your brain? A lot of it comes from the trillions of microorganisms living inside you. Your gut is home to roughly 40 trillion bacteria, plus viruses, fungi, and other microbes. Together they form your gut microbiome. They weigh about as much as your brain. They contain hundreds of times more genes than your own human genome. And they are not just passive passengers, they are active participants in your biology. They produce chemicals that your body cannot make on its own, and some of those chemicals are identical to the ones your brain uses to regulate your mood. The most famous of these is serotonin. You have probably heard of serotonin as the happy chemical that antidepressant drugs like crack try to boost. What most people do not know is that about 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin is not made in your brain. It is made in your gut. Special cells in your intestinal lining, called enterochromaffin cells, produce serotonin with the help of signals from your gut bacteria. This serotonin does not cross into your brain because of the blood-brain barrier, but it does influence your mood indirectly, through the vagus nerve, and through its effects on the immune system and inflammation. Then there is GABA, the brain's main calming neurotransmitter. Certain gut bacteria, like species of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, produce GABA directly. When these bacteria are abundant, GABA levels rise. When they are depleted, GABA drops. Low GABA is associated with anxiety, insomnia, and a racing mind. Your calming chemical depends, in part, on the bacteria you are feeding. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter of motivation and reward, is also influenced by gut bacteria. Some strains produce precursors to dopamine, others influence how much dopamine your brain cells release. An imbalanced gut microbiome has been linked to reduced dopamine signaling, which shows up as lack of motivation, anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, and the crushing fatigue of depression. There is another critical piece. Your gut is the largest immune organ in your body. About 70% of your immune cells live in the tissue surrounding your intestines. Their job is to distinguish friend from foe. When the gut microbiome is healthy and diverse, the immune system stays calm and balanced. But when the microbiome is damaged, a condition called dysbiosis, the gut lining can become inflamed and leaky. A leaky gut allows bacterial fragments and partially digested food particles to cross into the bloodstream. The immune system detects these invaders and mounts an attack. This triggers systemic inflammation. And inflammation in the body means inflammation in the brain. Inflammatory chemicals called cytokines can cross the blood-brain barrier. Once inside, they disrupt the production and function of serotonin, dopamine, and other neurotransmitters. They also activate the brain's own immune cells, called microglia, which then produce more inflammation in a vicious cycle. This is the inflammatory theory of depression and anxiety. It says that for many people, mood disorders are not primarily a chemical imbalance in the brain. They are an immune response. The brain is inflamed because the gut is inflamed, and the gut is inflamed because the microbiome is damaged. Fix the gut and you may fix the mood. The evidence for this is growing rapidly. Studies have shown that people with depression have measurably different gut microbiomes than people without depression. They tend to have fewer beneficial bacteria and more pro-inflammatory bacteria. When researchers take fecal samples from depressed humans and transplant them into germ-free mice, the mice develop signs of depression. They give up faster in swim tests. They lose interest in sugar water. Their brains show the same inflammatory markers. The depression is transferred with the gut bacteria. The reverse is also true. When depressed mice receive fecal transplants from healthy mice, their behavior improves. Their brain inflammation drops. Their neurotransmitter levels normalize. The same pattern is emerging in human studies. Probiotics that contain specific strains of lactobacillus and bifidobacterium have been shown to reduce anxiety and improve mood in clinical trials. They are not as powerful as pharmaceutical antidepressants in severe cases, but they work through a completely different mechanism, and they have almost no side effects. So what damages the gut microbiome in the first place? The biggest culprit is the modern Western diet. A diet high in processed foods, refined sugar, and unhealthy fats and low in fiber starves the beneficial bacteria and feeds the harmful ones. Beneficial bacteria thrive on fiber. They ferment it into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, which nourish the cells lining your gut and reduce inflammation. When you do not eat enough fiber, these bacteria starve and die off. The gut lining weakens. Inflammation rises, and the brain feels it. Antibiotics are another major disruptor. Antibiotics save lives, but they are blunt instruments. They kill harmful bacteria and beneficial bacteria indiscriminately. A single course of broad-spectrum antibiotics can devastate the gut microbiome for months. Children who receive multiple courses of antibiotics early in life have a higher risk of developing depression and anxiety later. The gut-brain connection is being severed before it even fully forms. Chronic stress damages the gut microbiome too. When you are stressed, your body releases cortisol and other stress hormones. These hormones change the environment of the gut, making it more hospitable to harmful bacteria and less hospitable to beneficial ones. Stress also slows digestion and reduces blood flow to the intestines, which further disrupts the microbial ecosystem. This creates a vicious loop. Stress damages the gut. The damaged gut sends inflammatory signals to the brain. The inflamed brain generates more stress. The cycle feeds itself. Lack of sleep, lack of exercise, and even social isolation have all been shown to negatively impact the gut microbiome. The bacteria in your gut respond to your entire lifestyle, not just your diet, and they respond quickly. Within days of changing what you eat, your microbiome composition begins to shift. This is both bad news and good news. It means the microbiome is fragile and easily damaged, but it also means it is responsive and can be repaired. So how do you build a gut microbiome that supports mental health? The foundation is fiber. Eat a wide variety of vegetables, fruits, legumes, and whole grains. Different fibers feed different bacteria, so diversity in your diet creates diversity in your microbiome. Aim for 30 different plant foods per week. This sounds like a lot, but it includes herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, and even coffee and tea. Diversity is the single strongest predictor of a healthy gut microbiome. Fermented foods are another powerful tool. Yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and miso all contain live beneficial bacteria. Eating fermented foods regularly has been shown to increase microbiome diversity and reduce inflammatory markers. Polyphenols are plant compounds found in colorful foods like berries, dark chocolate, green tea, and olive oil. Your body cannot digest polyphenols very well, but your gut bacteria can. They break polyphenols down into smaller molecules that are absorbed and travel to your brain, where they reduce inflammation and protect neurons. Prebiotics are specific types of fiber that especially nourish beneficial bacteria. Foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, and oats are rich in prebiotics. They selectively feed bifidobacterium and lactobacillus, the same bacteria shown to improve mood. Then there is what to avoid. Ultra-processed foods, artificial sweeteners, and emulsifiers found in many packaged foods have been shown to damage the gut lining and reduce microbiome diversity. Sugar, especially in liquid form, feeds harmful bacteria and yeasts that can overgrow and crowd out beneficial species. Alcohol is directly toxic to gut bacteria. Chronic alcohol consumption is one of the fastest ways to damage the gut-brain axis. This is not about perfection. It is about direction. Every meal is an opportunity to feed the bacteria that feed your brain. Every day without processed food is a day the gut lining can start to heal. Every walk outside, every good night of sleep, every moment of genuine social connection influences the ecosystem inside you. Your gut bacteria are listening, and they are talking back. The implications of the gut-brain axis are staggering. If your mood, your anxiety, your resilience to stress, and even your basic sense of well-being are shaped by the bacteria in your intestines, then mental health is not just a matter of brain chemistry. It is a matter of ecology. You are not a single organism. You are a walking ecosystem. Trillions of lives are living inside you, and they have a vote in how you feel today. This changes how we think about mental illness. It does not mean that depression and anxiety are all in your gut or that medication is unnecessary. It means that the gut is an additional powerful lever that has been ignored for too long. Treating the brain without treating the gut may be like trying to fix a flooded basement by mopping the floor while the pipe is still leaking. You have to fix the source. The science is still young. We do not yet know exactly which bacterial strains cure which conditions. We do not have a probiotic that works like an antidepressant for everyone. But we know enough to act. Eat fiber. Eat fermented foods. Eat colorful plants. Avoid ultra-processed junk. Move your body. Sleep well. Manage stress. These are not just physical health recommendations. They are mental health interventions delivered through the gut. Your gut has been talking to your brain since the day you were born. It has been shaping your moods, your cravings, your thoughts, and your emotions without you ever knowing it. Now you know. The question is what you will do with that knowledge. Will you feed the conversation or starve it? The next meal you eat, the next walk you take, the next night of sleep you prioritize, all of these are signals to the ecosystem inside you. And that ecosystem is talking back. Listen to